This is an entry-level coding position, y'all. You do not have to hold any type of certification in order to apply for this role. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Quita Evans and I hold 3 certifications from the AAPC. I have compiled a list of 7 jobs for you all to apply for. They are a mixture of remote and on-site, but I can assure you that these are all entry-level positions in some shape or form. Also, please consider the on-site positions if you reside in that location near the job because you want to be able to get your foot in the door. When I first started out applying for roles as a medical coder, in the beginning of my career, I applied for roles that were remote and on site. I just happened to land a remote role for my first role. Keep in mind that if you accept the on site position, you don't always have to stay there. You can transition after a time of being there. Just something for you to consider. Let's jump right into these roles. The first role up is for aqua dermatology. The title is a coding specialist and it is remote. This one is a special one. We're going to jump past all of this verbiage here and we're going to go right down to the bottom. Now, this one is full time. It says Monday through Friday. It says remote, but it has the states Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. So I'm unsure if you have to reside in those specific states in order to be considered for the role. But let's get into the qualifications here. It says education. The candidate would need to either hold a current certification, a CPC from the AAPC, or a CCS from Ahima, or be currently in school/program with intentions of obtaining certification within 6 months of hire. Certification preferred. To break this down for you all, you do not have to be certified in order to apply for this role. You can be currently in school with the goal of obtaining your certification. But as long as you get it within 6 months or higher and you're in school and you're not certified, they want you to apply for this role. They want you to have knowledge of coding guidelines in current CPT, ICD-10, and HCPC coding, fee schedule reimbursement methodology, and regulatory requirements for provider coding and reimbursement. So you're going to be dealing with CPT and ICD-10 and HCPC code sets. And let's go up to the top here. It states that the coding specialist will ensure coding and billing compliance through ongoing audits and education of providers and staff. The specialist will also aid in improving the quality of documentation related to the requirements to bill for services provided as needed. Let's take a look at the essential functions. You will conduct prepay and postpay audits to ensure accurate claim payments and denials, perform audit of documentation as requested by external entities, and assist in record collection, submission, and appeals. Audits medical records, documentation to ensure all services provided are accurately and appropriately reported using correct CPT and ICD-10 codes to identify coding deficiencies of services billed under overcoding. So again, if you are currently in school or you've already graduated from school and you're not certified yet, you should be applying for this role today. Alrighty, this one is a medical biller coder collector, Delta Health Center. As you can see, the pay range is from $18 to $24 an hour. It is a full-time role, but this one is on site. And here is the job address here for your reference. And it states here that this is not a remote position. And the reason that we're covering this, because I told you guys that all of these roles, somehow you may not require any experience, either no experience or also like no certification and no experience combined. But this one right here, it shows 0 to 1 years of related experience. As for the qualifications, it says any combination of education and experience which has led to the acquisition of the required skills, knowledge, and abilities. Knowledge of PPO insurances, Medicare, Medi-Cal, workers' compensation, and crossover payers. They also list that the schedule is Monday to Friday. In experience, they would prefer for you to have medical billing experience of 1 year, but it's not required. So if you reside in this area, definitely apply for this role if you are open to getting your foot in the door as a medical coder. Don't count this one out. Let's move on to the next role. Alrighty, so this position here is a medical billing tech, and as you can see, it is a entry level role. It's for William Brothers Healthcare Pharmacy. I don't believe that this is a coding position, but it is a billing position. It says, as a medical billing technician, you will take care of our patients' billing needs while following the correct policies and procedures. You will work in a team-based environment, and you will also work with customers to help them with their billing needs. This sounds like a customer facing role. As they state, if you are a customer service driven individual, come join our team today. The schedule here is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The pay is not listed for this role. They also list benefits and everything here, paid holidays, and all of that. They also specify that they will provide on the job training, which is a huge plus. So if you reside in this area here and you're open to working on site, definitely apply for this role ASAP before it's gone. I am happy to report that this position is a remote role. It is a medical biller at Outpatient Integrated Strategies. And one reason I included this role is because they want you to have some coding knowledge. So I thought some of you who may be interested in coding positions may be interested in this position. They also have the pay range listed here for $19.48 an hour up to $24 an hour. You will process and submit medical billing claims to insurance companies and patients, review patient records to ensure accurate coding using ICD-9 and DRG guidelines, follow up on outstanding claims, ensuring timely collections of payments, maintain, organize medical records, and documentation in compliance with healthcare regulations. You will also communicate effectively with healthcare providers, patients, and insurance representatives to resolve billing inquiries. So, this is a customer facing role where you will be dealing with people over the phone. They also would like for you to stay updated on changes in medical billing regulations, coding practices, and insurance policies. You will also assist with front office scheduling and communicating with patients potentially as a backup. They want you to have knowledge in medical terminology, medical coding, and billing processes, familiarity with ICD-9 coding standards and DRG classifications, experience in medical collections, and handling patient accounts. They also communicated that working in a medical office setting is preferred, but it's not required. I know that some of you have a medical billing background, so for some of you who may still want to work in that field or work in this role, even though you were looking for a coding position at first, you may be interested in this one because from what I'm looking at, it's not requiring a lot of experience, if any. They also have the day shift here, so it's going to be a day shift role Monday to Friday, and the shift will be 8 hours a day. Moving on to the next role. Now, this one is a medical records coder too. It is home health care focused. It is remote, but you must reside in North Carolina. Please keep in mind that we have about two more positions after this that are fully remote. So if you reside in North Carolina, definitely apply for this role. Now, this one, they are offering a $5,000 sign on bonus, and they will pay out in two equal installments over 12 months in 6-month increments. This one is home care focused. I know some of you all were interested in home care coding. If you work in this role, you will be able to gain some experience with home care coding. Let's scroll on down. So they would like for you to reside within at least 2 hours of the office area. And as you can see, they are specifying that they want you to have a North Carolina address for condition of employment. So as you can see, you will be dealing with ICD-10 and CPT code sets here. You will be sequencing the diagnosis codes and procedures using coding guidelines. You will be dealing with DRGs. You will be doing inpatient and outpatient coding in this role. Let's move down to the preferred qualifications. So for the licensure, it says that you must hold one of the following active current certifications. They're looking for a HCSD, that is a home care coding certification. Also a CPC, an RHIA, and RHIT. The reason I included this one, I know that it says for CPC or HCSD certification, they want you to hold 2 years of coding experience. And as well for the CCS, it says 1 year. For the RHIA and the RHIT certifications, no experience is required. And I've also heard that some of you all out there hold an RHIA or an RHIT. So if you hold one of those certifications, definitely apply for this role as no experience is required. And also you must reside again in this area within 2 hours of this location in order to be considered for the role. Now moving on to the next role. It is full-time. It is a coding administrative assistant for U.S. anesthesia partners. But what I don't know is why it seems like this is kind of cut off. Some of it is cut off, but definitely read over this as much as you can try to understand. I also want to point out right here, it is remote, but if you reside in New York, California, Hawaii, or Alaska, as they do not hire candidates that reside in these locations. But it is a fully remote role besides that. For those of you all who don't know, an A stands for apprentice. So if you have an A attached to your CPC or you just flat out have a CPC, it says with limited experience in anesthesia, RHIT eligible, or newly credentialed, you should be applying for this role. And they even expound on that more right here. It says minimal level of coding experience with a basic understanding of documentation guidelines and the ability to understand and keep abreast of coding guidelines. Experience working in a medical records department or medical clerical experience is preferred, but not required. A healthcare background is a plus for them. So if you are newly credentialed or you have a CPC-A or HIT, CPC, you should be applying for this role. But remember, if you don't reside in one of these states, you're going to have to skip over this one. And let's go ahead and go over to the last one. And this one, the last one is also something that all of you all, even if you are not certified, you should be considering this role that we have coming up right now. This role is a coder analyst virtual. So it is remote, it's for Advent Health. Looks like they have paid holidays, student loan repayment, career development, all those good things. And then when you scroll down, it is full time. The shift is days. So it says that the Coder Analyst 1, under general supervision of the Outpatient Coding Supervisor, is responsible for assigning codes to ER and outpatient ancillary medical records using ICD-10, CM, and CPT codes via the 3M encoder in Dolby Computer Assistant Coding application. So it looks like they provide encoder, which is great. And they also have computer assistance coding. For those of y'all who don't know, basically you will have a chart and it will come generated with some codes. That does not mean that it's correct. It's your responsibility as the coder to make sure if this code should be on that chart and if it should not be on that chart, you should be removing that code because once they audit that chart, whatever code that should not be on there is going to affect your accuracy. And just because the computer generated the code, it doesn't mean that you won't be responsible for coding something that shouldn't have been there. So let's take a look at the expertise and experience you will need to succeed. This is really, really important, you guys. So it says high school diploma and successfully completed a medical coding certificate program or 2-year HIM program. This is an entry level coding position, y'all. Yes, you read that right. This is an entry level coding position. Please refer to education requirements above. So if they're saying this one is entry level, but we want you to have successfully completed a medical coding certificate program or 2-year HIM program, which means you do not have to have a CPC. You do not have to hold any type of certification in order to apply for this role. As it states, an RHIA or RHIT or CCS or CPC are required within 2 years of hire. So you can actually work on this job and actually gain some coding knowledge, but make sure to get certified within 2 years with one of these certifications. I have heard a lot of you all state that there are not any entry level coding positions out there. And that's why I do these videos to prove to you all otherwise that they are out there, but you have to search and dig for them. But not only do you have to do that, you have to really dissect these job postings and really, really look at the details. Because some of you all may look at a position, you get discouraged, and you just don't want to apply for anything because you feel like it's really, really hard to break into the industry. Any area, anything that you are jumping off into, of course, you're going to have some competition with people who have experience and with people who don't. But you cannot allow that to discourage you. You have to still apply for these roles. If I had given up when I was applying for those roles and it just felt like I just could not land a role, I wouldn't be here today, you all. And look at me today, y'all. I am an auditor now. Look at what the Most High has brought into my life. You all cannot give up. If you have a resume, you need to get someone that you trust to look over your resume and let you know what you need to do to make your resume better. You have Chat GPT out here that also can help aid you in creating a wonderful resume. You have plenty of examples online of what a resume should look like. If you don't have experience as a medical coder, maybe get a cover letter. I did not use a cover letter. My resume, it was formulated in a way of it had all of my past experiences there, but I had this paragraph at the top of my resume explaining how I wanted to break into the industry and how I'm going to use my coding knowledge to make sure that everything is coded to the highest specificity. I put all that on my resume. I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. And if you end up landing a role, definitely put it in the comment section to encourage others who may be discouraged to help them keep pushing along.